What's up guys, this is Ray and today we'll be talking about the 2020 Japanese movie First Love, directed by Miike Takashi and starring Kubota Masataka, Konishi Sakurako. There's also Omori now and Sometani Shota. Now, when it comes to a Japanese release, First Love was released in 2020, but as from what I understand, this movie was released actually last year, or late last year, early this year overseas, which is kind of strange usually. I mean, Japanese movies show up in Japan first, but apparently First Love is an exception in that it debuted overseas first. So I wasn't able to catch this movie until it came to the Japanese shore, so that's why I'm labeling it as a 2020 movie. But before we dive into this review, if you guys are new to Eiga-Man Ray, I upload reviews and discussions of Japanese movies every chance that I get. So if you're new to the channel and you dig the content, feel free to help support this channel by checking out other videos featured on this channel and also by subscribing. So now on to the review. First Love, it's about this boxer named Reo. And Reo, he's an up-and-comer. He's really strong, almost unstoppable until he gets KO'd by a lucky punch. It's from that point on that he learns he has a brain tumor, so he doesn't have that much long to live. So as he's contemplating what to do for the rest of the night and also for the rest of his life, we the audience also meet Monica, who is this girl who's been sold into sex slavery. And Monica gets caught up with this dirty cop and this Yakuza, and their plot to basically set off a war between this Yakuza gang and this Chinese triad gang. And as chaos ensues with the gang war, Reo unfortunately gets caught up in all the mess. And he kind of gets caught up in it kind of because he feels like he has nothing left to live for. He kind of sees Monica running away and then, he figures, what the hell? And then he just gets himself involved in probably the most hilarious way ever. Yes, more or less, that's how the story of First Love starts out. This movie is, I'd say at its core, a gangster film. And, when it comes to the positives of this movie, I feel like this is Miike returning to form. More or less, I'd say Miike's movies within the past years have been kind of on and off. I try to watch as much as I can because I love Miike ever since I was introduced to him. My first movie by Miike was Audition way back when, and that blew me the F away. And ever since then, I've just been in love with the majority of Miike's work. In the past few years, we've seen some ups, like I personally like the live action of Blade of the Immortal, Ace Attorney, and also like Lesson of the Evil. That was fun. But then there were a lot of downs. And, I'm talking about movies like Terraformers, Laplace's Witch. Yeah, Miike's just one of those directors who feels like he's just a director for hire. I feel as a self-proclaimed Miike fan that he's kind of fallen off. I don't know, like his work hasn't been the same, you compare it to his previous works, Ichi the Killer, Audition, as I mentioned previously, Happiness of the Katakuris, a bunch of his older films are fantastic, but recent films, not so much, until, First Love. First Love, I thought, was really entertaining, was a lot of fun, and a lot of the stuff that I really enjoyed about Miike's his early works are present in this movie. And I think the first thing that you notice is the violence. There's a lot of violence in this movie, and you know you're in for something when you see the first dude get beheaded. You know that this is gonna be that kind of movie. And they go many places with the violence. A lot of it is very stylized, a lot of it is very gritty, and at the same time there's a lot of dark humor kind of infused with the violence. So that way it's not 100% gritty and not 100% dark, but there is a lot of humor involved and a lot of style, and that's the kind of stuff I can appreciate with Miike's style of violence. And when it comes to the characters, there are a whole ton of characters involved with this chaotic story. The story is a mess, but I won't label that as a negative. As a matter of fact, I think the mess and the chaos that this story has, a lot of it has to do with the sheer amount of characters in it. I think it adds so much to the entertainment. I mean, the main character doesn't really have anything to do with the overarching plot. He just kind of gets sucked up into the chaos, gets involved. He's the reluctant hero, but he is, he's the shining hero. And he's the kind of character that it's easy to cheer behind. You feel for his story, and he didn't do a bad job at all when it came to his performance. Although I gotta say, my favorite character was Kase the Yakuza, who's played with sheer perfection by Sometani Shota. He is absolutely entertaining. I mean, Sometani Shota, he's a kind of a unique actor. You know, he can portray characters with a very dry delivery, and he can play, you know, characters with very energetic deliveries. And then with this character that he plays here in this movie, he bounces back and forth really, you know, really seamlessly. Like he'll be, when he's talking to the crooked cop played by Omori now, you know, that he has kind of a, you know, let's just get shit done. Let's just get stuff over with. You know, this is the plan. This is how it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then he shifts into his Yakuza slurs. And it's just funny seeing him flip the switch and then go ham, go crazy. And there's more to just flipping the switch into Yakuza mode to his performance. And I won't get into it because a lot of it has to be seen to be enjoyed. But on top of that, you know, when it comes to all the characters, both the main characters and the supporting characters, or at least the main supporting characters, you get plenty of time with each of these characters to kind of get to know them, and for the story to establish who they are, what their mission is, and therefore just to care about these guys. You know, even though there's a lot of characters, it's easy to identify who's who and what they're about, and therefore it's easy to get behind the characters when the movie wants you to. Like, everyone performs that way. Each character was distinguishable, and the dialogue, I thought the dialogue was a whole lot of fun. And I think another standout other than Sometani Shota was Becky. You know, Becky is this talent who's in Japan, who's kind of getting over this huge scandal when she was having an affair with another married celebrity. And, you know, up until recently, her kind of image when it came to on camera was like the kind of cute, cheerful kind of personality you see on TV. But to see her in this character of Julie in First Love, it's funny. She's rugged. She's violent. She is a badass. She's like not a femme fatale per se, but she is rough, and she can get rough with the boys too. And yeah, her character was a lot of fun as well. And something for me that was very entertaining with the story is that, you know, I mentioned the chaos earlier, and that kind of led to a little bit of unpredictability with the story. You know, I think as an audience member, we can kind of guess the direction that the story is going, but what I especially like is that the characters don't really know. You know, the characters for the most part have this plan, you know, especially with Sometani Shota and Omori Nao's characters. They have this plan. It's going to go this way. Even the Yakuzas and the Triads, they kind of have this plan. But then there's always some kind of surprise that the characters have to adapt to. And the way each of these characters react and adapt to these situations, it's very entertaining. It's a lot of fun. And adding to the energy and the humor, you know, you remember with Happiness of the Katakuri, there's that one scene where it suddenly turns into claymation. There is kind of a similar scene here, although it doesn't turn into claymation. It turns into this kind of this anime sequence out of nowhere, and it just adds to the whole mess of chaos and the whole mess of fun that this movie has. But when it comes to the negatives of First Love, there's really only one thing I gotta say, is that I think there was a missed opportunity with the female assassin who's a part of the Chinese triads. You know, she's played by Fujioka Mami, who's the sister of Dean Fujioka, who's just one of the coolest dudes on screen, you know, and the sister, Fujioka Mami, she's just as cool. She radiates the same kind of coolness, especially in the character that she's meant to play. But I felt like, you know, they kind of build her up when they introduce her, but I felt like they could have done a lot more there as far as present her as this badass female assassin. But when it comes to the negatives, that's pretty much it. I think overall, you know, with First Love, this movie was a lot of fun. You know, it reminds me a lot of what I loved about Miike's earlier movies. And I think, you know, this isn't his best movie per se, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure many hardcore Miike fans would agree with that. But this is definitely, I'd count it as a return to form. I just hope that from this point on, Miike doesn't pull any kind of, you know, another kind of Terraformers movie, because, you know, I hope he just keeps this streak going, because First Love is just too good. And when you watch it, definitely expect a lot of violence and just a lot of limbs and other things getting cut off, that's what you might watch a Miike film for. Anyways, yes, those are my thoughts on First Love. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all those social media channels. And by all means, if you really dig the content, feel free to hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. And also check out my Patreon page, of which you can find the link in the description area below. And yeah, that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to all my patrons for supporting this channel and anything and everything I do. And I'll catch you all again in the next video. Take it easy.